Hi, so this is just a quick video response. We do try to answer the questions regarding the glucose sensors, and we've had a sort of question 3 here, so I've tried to answer that. And the question is really asking for sort of the statistical data or the analytical data, maybe more the statistical data around the glucose sensor. The first thing to say is the glucose sensors that we sell on our website, they're really intended to get startup companies going pretty quickly. So rather than them having to reinvent a glucose sensor every time they want to do a program, there's a glucose sensor that pre-exists. They can try it and get going on their things like their electronics and going on their application development. So the glucose sensor that we sell is not the end, it's a means to an end. And the reason I say that is because we expect you to kind of get this glucose sensor, get it into the lab, use it to sort of try out some experiments on it, sort of learn some lessons along the way, and then move on to sort of the main development. So we don't try to analytically characterize our sensors that much because it's not the philosophy that's behind the sensor. Like I said, the sensor is you get it, you try it, you learn from it. And then you start thinking about your true product. But I can, what I'll do is I'll sort of tell you how you can go about thinking about the linearity interval, the limit of detection, the limit of quantification, and the operational stability. Well, I said here the operational stability, sort of how stable is the sensor over time. So that one, I would literally use the raw data here, which is a 48-hour continuous operation in 5 millimolar glucose. You can get a sense of the signal, and it's I want to say it's fairly stable. So maybe take a look at that. Now, if you want to think about the linearity interval, the limit of detection, limit of quantification, maybe at some point ZP can calculate this, but at the moment, it can either be calculated from the data that we have on the website. So we have a 0 millimolar here, then a 5, a 10, a 15, and a 20. And it has good linearity, sort of between 0 and 15, and then at 20 it just starts to plateau out a little bit there. But I also noticed that the data sheet that we have on the website as well does actually have some quite nice data on it. So this might be a good place to think about this, because then we have some 0, some 5, some 10, some 15, and some 20. So I think though we respect these kind of questions, it's almost putting the emphasis onto the glucose sensor, but actually what the glucose sensor is intended to do is to get you going on your path to productization. It's not the end point in itself. And I mean, it's, and so to make that point a little bit, if we go to products and we go to liquid solutions, for example, we have glucose strip activation formulations. So because in the end we imagine that the form factor that is the final glucose sensing product could be quite different, depending on how you're going to use a glucose sensor, whether it's food, beverage, wellness. So we actually sell the formulation. So our sensors we sell on our website, we tend not to have analytical data on them because they're really meant to be these kind of sensors for a proof of principle, so that you can get going, get some early data, maybe test them with some electronics that you have, but then we're expecting you to kind of move on from these sensors quite quickly. All right, I hope that helps, and thanks very much.